Hey, what's going on, everyone? This is Mitch. Hope you're enjoying your Sunday evening. There is a lot to discuss. I know this is the third video I made today, but there's just a lot going on. It's about the most active this has ever been since making this YouTube channel as far as the dynamics and so many things to talk about. It's been like that for several days. I do want to know before I get going here, if you're wondering about the tornado threat overnight for Georgia and the Carolinas, please check out the last video I just made. It's down here. I made it a little earlier this afternoon. It's very important to know because it's getting overshadowed a little bit by this big time snowstorm, which is what we're going to break down this video. So, like I said, that is what we're going to break down. The chance for blizzard conditions in the mountains of North Carolina, Virginia, the chance for thundersnow, heavy accumulation all the way from Tennessee, all the way to Washington, D.C. It's snowing in portions of the deep and south and mid-south right now. Incredible dynamic system. It's snowing in areas that were in the 70s and 80s this time yesterday or early in the afternoon yesterday. Incredible system. So that's what we're going to break down. We're really going to try to break down to the T in each location. But if you have any questions, please comment below about your specific location. I'll try to be as exact as I can, but it's very hard to do in certain situations, as y'all know. But if you guys have not subscribed, definitely consider hitting the subscribe button. Put in a lot of work, guys. I really do, to try to keep y'all updated. So like the video if you like it. I try to keep y'all updated as much as possible. I put out content every single day, even when the weather is much more slower. If you guys could consider joining my YouTube channel, there is a tab right there for that. I can't offer perks and all these fancy things right now, but you know, my YouTube channel is pretty small, and I really hope to push it to make it something bigger later on down the road. And I really do appreciate every single one of y'all. I'm just a guy who loves the weather and is blessed to have a platform to talk about what I love to others. So thank y'all for giving that to me. If you got anybody got anything I can pray about, please put in the comments, and I'll definitely pray for you, and I'm sure a lot of other people will too. So let's get going because there is a lot to discuss. I want to start off by showing you guys the pinks are winter storm warnings. I know that's very small on your screen. What I want y'all guys to consider, type in Google NWH watch and warnings. You type that in Google, it'll pull up this graphic. You can click whatever area you're in. For example, I'll click around the Huntsville, Alabama area. It gives me a breakdown of the Huntsville area, which is now under a winter storm warning. 2 to 3 inches of snow expected. This is Alabama, folks. But that's just one example. If you're really wanting to know about the National Weather Service as far as the professionals, they will break it down to a T and talk about your warnings and your locations and everything. So definitely consider that. But big swath of winter storm warnings, including a lot of people. But let's break down these models and talk about some things. We're going to talk about the winds, the snowfall totals, what the models are showing, and really get an in-depth look at the HRRR model and go through this entire event from present to the end. So what is going on as a whole? This is the latest GFS run. What's going on is a secondary low pressure completely cut off differently from the system that just rolled through. It's its own entity. It's its own thing. It's developing here, and it's rapidly intensifying over land, Georgia and the Carolinas. This is the fact that it's rapidly intensifying. It's promoting a big-time wind threat. Therefore, you're having a severe weather threat overnight south of this low pressure into central and southern Georgia, into areas of South Carolina and North Carolina. But the snow, the backside of this snow, as we're getting into the overnight hours, we're getting into around the morning hours tomorrow. Look at this heavy snow breaking out over Virginia. This is extremely heavy paste-like snow, like snowflakes the size of $50, maybe even bigger, is going to be falling with this event. And look at it. It's getting all the way up into Washington, D.C., pouring down, snowing and in the mountains of North Carolina and Virginia and Tennessee. And it keeps on going and maybe gets as far north. There's going to be a stout cutoff, but maybe gets as far north as areas in New York City as a light band of snow. But the heaviest snow is going to be a strong cutoff as what you call frontogenesis, which is forcing rising motion. Is going to be up against sinking motion right here, which is going to promote a big-time heavy band of snow that's going to pivot from southwest to northeast, and it's not going to budge much. So wherever this stops, point south is going to be where the heaviest snow is. But this is a big-time event. It gets wrapped up. It's going to be a quick hitting, but the hours that it does snow, guys, it is going to absolutely come down. So let's check out the latest HRRR model. So this is around right now. This is around 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. The snow begins to wrap up in areas of Mississippi. By the time you're getting into Huntsville, Alabama, you guys could transition to from heavy rain, from a band of heavy rain to heavy snow about 9 to 10 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. So obviously take an hour behind off that. But as you're getting into 10 p.m., 11 p.m., it is still snowing, maybe as far south as south of Birmingham. I'm going to be very interested for you folks in Alabama. And if you're wondering about Virginia, please stay tuned. I'm going to talk about your locations too. I'm going to run through this pretty quick. But look at this. It's starting to snow in areas of Birmingham around 11 p.m., midnight. It's still snowing in Huntsville. I think that's why you guys got a winter storm warning, because they're anticipating maybe 3 to 4 or 5 hours of snow, and heavy at times. It doesn't matter how warm the ground temps are. If it snows hard enough, guys, it's going to accumulate. It's going to accumulate, I'm telling you. But this makes it into Georgia, and as it gets into about the 2 a.m., 3 a.m. time frame, and maybe a brief period of heavy snow in north and northwest Georgia. And look at that band of snow getting into Chattanooga. We get into the next frame here, and we look more into Tennessee. As we're getting into 9, 10 p.m., you're fully transitioned to snow in Nashville. We'll keep going here. It gets into Crossville. This is where the plateau is, so there's a little bit higher elevation that helps you guys in these kind of situations. For you folks in Kentucky, around Lexington, Kentucky, there is going to be a stout cutoff. This is where that frontogenesis really sets up that heavier precipitation, and there is going to be a nasty cutoff, and whoever's north of this cutoff and likes snow is going to be very disappointed. Louisville, Cincinnati, you are going to get screwed with this, and I hate it if you're snow fans, but trust me, I live in Columbia, South Carolina. It doesn't even get close to snowing here. But this is around the 11 p.m. Eastern Standard Time period. It is starting to snow very heavily in the areas of even the valley, even the plateau of Tennessee. And by the time you get into Knoxville, around 2 a.m., it switches from heavy rain to heavy snow. I mean, it's going to be like that. It's just gonna go from a raw heavy rain to a heavy snow. I mean, it's gonna be incredible how quickly this happens. By the time you get into 2 to 3 a.m., these higher elevations in the Tennessee mountains, in the North Carolina mountains, begin to transition. The Great Smoky Mountains is definitely transitioning to heavy, heavy snow. Gatlinburg's getting absolutely throttled with heavy snow. These areas up near Bristol getting heavy snow. 4 a.m., 5 a.m., it's already switched to all snow across the southern Appalachian Mountains, and even North Georgia, you're getting heavy snow. You switch to this, you get a little bit further south for you folks in Alabama, and more so in Atlanta. Here we go. For you folks in Atlanta, it's going to get close. You're going to have to be up really early in the wee hours of the morning. I'm talking about 3, 4 o'clock in the morning if you guys want to see maybe a brief period of snow, but it could happen. So if you want to see some flakes, it's going to be quick, but there could be a brief changer from about 3 to 5 a.m. for Atlanta, and then it moves on through. And maybe some Arctic air enhances a little bit more flurry action. I would not be surprised at all if you folks in Atlanta wake up to some flurries flying around. I really don't. Normally, it likes to do that kind of stuff when the Arctic air mass moves in, especially you see these little hints of pink showing up. Would not be surprised for you folks in Atlanta. Now, starting to get into the meat of this storm, here we go. And we're probably just going to have to look at the latest 18Z. Here we go. As we're getting into the 6 a.m. time frame, it's all snow. Back it up here. Look at it breaking out this heavy snow in southern areas of West Virginia. And, you know, for my folks in southeast Kentucky, y'all are going to get a nice snowfall from this also. You guys will not get left out from this. But by the time you're getting into, let's see, the 7 a.m. time frame, maybe Winston-Salem, maybe you guys begin to mix with some wet snow, Danville, Virginia, up to Richmond. Y'all are starting to transition. You get to about 8, 9 a.m. Maybe Winston-Salem, a deformation band. This could be the kicker right here for you guys. A deformation band might set up, which is basically a very heavy band of precipitation on the backside of a low pressure, switches y'all to heavy snow around early to mid-morning for Winston-Salem into Raleigh. Heck, maybe even Charlotte. Watch out about mid-morning for Charlotte. And then this band of maybe moderate to heavy snow pivots into Raleigh as you get into about the noon to 1 p.m. time frame. At this time, you're starting to lose the favorable time period, which is the morning hours, the cooler times of the day. But still, this Arctic air is filtering in. You're getting about to the 3 to 4 to 5 p.m. range. and a band of snow makes it all the way to Elizabeth City, and then the system runs on through. But check out Virginia. We look a little bit further north into Virginia. Here we go. Here we come. This storm. 7 a.m. You're all snow. Let's back it up a little bit. Snow begins to work its way into Washington, D.C. Y'all might start off as a period of rain before it quickly changes to snow. The cold air really collapses the column and brings in heavy snow. And this is what I'm talking about, where the heavy band will set up right in here, but it will not move much north. So if you're in Pittsburgh, into Pennsylvania, y'all are not going to see any of this snow. Maybe a flurry. But Charlottesville at around 5 a.m., 6 a.m., 7 a.m., y'all are getting throttled with heavy snow. Roanoke, heavy snow. Richmond, you guys switched to very heavy snow. This is just going to be a very significant snowstorm. But notice by the time you get into about 4 or 5 p.m., it's over. It's going to be a all-morning event. It's going to hit really hard. It's going to shock people, and it's going to bring a lot of snow. As far as you northern folks up here, had a lot of people ask about the I didn't mention, the Delmarva area, but Maryland, Delaware, you guys, same situation. You go back to this, that there's going to be a jackpot area right here in the Delmarva area, south of Washington, D.C., southeast. You guys are going to get a jackpot area into here, into Maryland and Delaware. Y'all could get 6 to 12 inches of snow. I'm going to go on and say it. Y'all really could. But as far as areas north, you see all this green right here? That's actually snow. Philadelphia, it's going to be very close to a moderate event for y'all, but I really think there's going to be a cutoff over the northern mid-Atlantic and southern New England that's going to be brutal. Baltimore, y'all going to get into the snow too. As far as snowfall, let's check it out. This is the latest long-range HRRR model, which there'll be another one to update here in another 2 hours. But showing here, you guys can see a couple inches of snow and basically anywhere in Tennessee. Now the valley here between the plateau and then the actual mountains of the southern Appalachian Mountains, y'all know it more than I do. Y'all guys typically get kind of screwed over in these situations. But look at northern Alabama. Maybe a couple inches of snow around Huntsville. Gets very close to Atlanta, but I think the most y'all will get with some flurries, maybe back in light rain to light snow. But look at this area in North Carolina. You got to watch out for this. Could y'all get a surprise quick? It'll be, when I tell you it'll be quick, it's a couple hour period of heavy snow. Could y'all get a quick thumping of snow in North Carolina? But we already know the mountains here are going to get hit with heavy snow. Thundersnow is a question here. I'm about to talk about that here in a second. But there's going to be a heavy band stretching from the mountains all the way through central Virginia, all the way through the Delmarva. And then there's going to be an area in southern New Jersey. If you're in southern New Jersey, y'all could get hit really hard. But if you get to central to northern New Jersey, you guys could get absolutely nothing. That's how close this is. But Washington, D.C., maybe 3 to 6 inches is a definite reality here. And actually, it might be conservative. But that's what I'm going to say, because a lot of times y'all get kind of screwed over. But here you go. Here's the crazy GFS showing over a foot of snow widespread in Virginia. And I really think someone is definitely going to get over a foot of snow in the mountains of Virginia, North Carolina, and Tennessee. Y'all are going to get hit hard. Especially watch out for these areas in Tennessee in the northeast kind of nose of Tennessee. You guys could get a nice jackpot there also. But you look at the European, I think it's a little bit more realistic. I think this is a real possibility here in northern Alabama. I think this band is going to get heavy here in the next couple hours. And in fact, you look at here, this is what's going on right now currently. In fact, it might update here in a second. Well, I think it is updated. Look at the snow. Of course, there's a rain report right there in Dixon, Tennessee. But this is sleet and snow starting to get cold enough to work its way into Nashville. And then we're going to start to get reports here of some sleet and snow in northern Alabama also. There's already been some accumulating snow in northern Mississippi. I've seen pictures of it all over Twitter. But this is kind of the National Weather Service call right here. And I think this is a good call. This is actually the professionals calling for a couple inches in northern Alabama. Around Nashville, maybe 1 to 2 inches. You see the plateau, which is always favored in Tennessee, 2 to 3 inches of snow. And then the mountains, several inches of snow, maybe up to a foot. And then around Washington, D.C., maybe 6 inches of snow is the call right now from the National Weather Service. And then the National Weather Service is a little bit further north than, say, the HRRR model. And you look at the European model, it's also much further north, unless on the latest one that comes out here in the next hour shifts it south. But the northern trend definitely stopped. It definitely did. So let's talk about that thunder snow. What's going on here is this low pressure right here. And we'll look at the HRRR model right into here. It's intensifying, so you have very heavy precipitation right into here. So this low pressure is right here. I mean, you got intense cold air moving in, but what this is going to allow is for heavy precipitation in the form of convective energy almost over the mountains of the sub-Appalachian Mountains of North Carolina and Tennessee. So there is going to be some heavy precipitation to the point where there might be some thunder and lightning in these areas. It's going to be incredibly dynamic. That's why we keep using that word, because it really is. It's going to be crazy dynamic here. This is what you call frontogenesis, which basically is forcing here. And here's that. And when you see these little lines tightening up, these pink lines, that is that frontogenesis showing up. And it's showing up right in these areas in Tennessee, eastern Tennessee, in the mountains of North Carolina, and also a little bit smidget in here in North Georgia. But that might just be in the form of heavy rain. But then you go to the next time frame, which is the early morning hours here in Virginia. Look at this heavy band. You see this forcing going on right here. You got this rising motion of the air and this sinking right into here, which is causing that big time tight gradient and heavy snow and no snow. And this heavy band is going to set up right over Virginia, and it is going to be heavy. Some thunder snow is possible even in Virginia. One thing that's not getting talked about a ton, which I think it should, is a strong wind threat. There's going to be tight gradients around this low pressure, and basically the low pressure is going to be bringing in big time strong winds into South Carolina and then in the mountains. Look at these ridges. The ridges are showing up on the HRRR model here. So not only is it going to be snow in the higher elevations, maybe over a foot in locations, but it is also, the winds are going to be howling. There's actually storm chasers setting up now on the top of the peaks, ready for blizzard conditions. It's incredible. And the winds increase also too. You know, you look in Virginia, it's not just in North Carolina and southern areas. There is going to be breezy conditions while the snow is falling in Virginia. Not to the point where you're going to have blizzard warnings, but these oranges right here are potential gusting from 30 to 40 miles per hour where the snow is falling. You get that for a consistent amount of time, a period of hours, then you get blizzard conditions. It's considered blizzard conditions. So the wind threat is serious. It really is. And you know, as far as you folks that aren't even seeing snow in South Carolina, it is going to be a windy day. I mean, even after the heavy precipitation moves through, the winds are going to continue all day tomorrow across Georgia into the Carolinas to the point where it's going to be blowing, knocking down tree limbs. Small trees could fall down because the soil is so saturated. Big system. So this is obviously probably the last video I'll probably make of this because it's kind of a now thing now. But I just want to say I appreciate the support. I've gotten a lot of growth from these videos and just breaking down the system over the last 7 days. Almost 500 subscribers in a 5-day period. I know my channel is kind of small right now, but I'm aiming high, and I appreciate y'all. If I couldn't do it because of y'all, I couldn't talk about what I love if it wasn't for y'all. So that's all I got. God bless all y'all. Stay safe out there and enjoy the snow.